are operating from India called the working statements. That's a requirement that the Patent Office has by the law. And if I can ask Dr. Ravi, what is this working statement first of all, and what are the things that they ask? Just to give a background to everyone.
Yeah. The Indian Patent Act 1970 by statute stipulates that every patent holder or every patentee from the third year of the grant of the patent is duty bound to submit information about the working of the patent to the government of India, basically to the Indian Patent Office. This should be done on a periodic basis, basically within 30th of March of every calendar year. So that's what the Patent Act 1970 stipulates. And then to support that section, there is also a rule, basically Rule 131, which states that the submission of these working statements has to be carried out in a particular form that is prescribed in Schedule 2, basically Form 27 is what is the form listed there. That's fine. For all patent holders to submit information is fine, but what are the main concerns? When you just go through that Patents Act, it just lists out the section stating that patent holder has to submit the information on a periodic basis, and the Controller General has powers to call for any information and publicize that information what has been submitted.
If I can ask you, what does working statement mean? Like, is it something like the patent has worked, or have you put that in a product, or is the product getting sold in India?
Yeah, let me come to that point. After having gone through that statute and the form, you see that form and there is a lot of information that you need to fill in. So what is that support you get? So the Indian Patent Office has released the draft manual of patent practice and procedure. So it says that the draft manual outlines the way in which Form 27 or the submission of working statements has to be made. When you go and look at the draft manual, it again outlines the various provisions the Indian Patent Act 1970 lists, and also it only tells about the details that is to be furnished, and also talks basically about the consequences of non-compliance, right. Basically failure to submit that information. But I stress again, the draft manual is silent on the way and the manner in which the information has to be provided. Let me just give a hypothetical example. The Form 27, if you just look at it, it asks to list out the patent number, say for the patent number X, and then the next question it asks is, has it been worked on a commercial scale in India? So if you have got a product, to protect that product, you would have got n number of patents surrounding that product. It is very difficult to isolate a particular patent and say that this patent is worked in this particular product. A product would have n number of patents. How do I isolate a patent and tell this is the patent which has been in that product? The second important particular that is asked there is, has the reasonable requirements of the public met?
Now what on earth that means?
What are the reasonable requirements?
What is the
reasonable requirements for a patented medicine is different from a reasonable requirement for a patented mobile phone. As a patentee, am I expected to go to the market, find out the market, and then say that, yeah, I need 100,000 products to suffice this country, but I manufacture only 10,000 products. To make life worse, it asks, the requirements are partially met, fully met, reasonably met. What does partially mean? What does fully mean?
Right. The
patentee doesn't have much information. Is he supposed to make an investment on market study and get that information? Further, there is another interesting thing to it. I've just made a point. It says you'll have to give more information on the quantum and value of the product that has been sold in India. So if I try to get the sales information, I'll end up in trouble, because our sales guys will give me the manufacturing price and not the selling price.
Right.
And the manufacturing price and the selling price, there is a difference. And some of the products we do import from other countries. So should I take the import value or the selling price in India? These are some of the ambiguities that an in-house counsel faces when he is supposed to submit the working statements. These are a few of them, but down the lane there are few other parameters which I will just discuss in the next round.
So
if
in
time
your
permits.
in your view, in your very personal view, do you think these working statements are required first of all?
Let me just share my personal view. See, I personally feel that the intention of the legislature to have this provision was to see that a patentee does not monopolize his invention without working it and without transferring the technology to the society, to the development of the society. That's what section 83 or 84 provision states, that a patentee has to work out the invention for the benefit of the society or for the technological promotion. At the same time, this provision says that in case there is a public health requirement from the society, the patentee should not monopolize it, neither allow a third party to manufacture or put it into the market, nor hold it. So only under those circumstances, I think it makes sense for the organizations, for the controller to request for information and then seek that information so that the public health requirements of the society are met.
Right.
To just add a sentence to it, for example, we had a person from automobile industry. So is it a must that if there is a information that is being sought from an automobile industry, what does it help to the society? It doesn't. On the other hand, if there is an industry from power generation or power distribution or semiconductors or consumer electronics, it doesn't make sense for the controller to seek information on the working details of the patented invention. That's what I feel. On a case-to-case basis, wherever there is a need and where there is a hint to the controller that there is a monopoly and the patented product is helpful to the society and the information is not being publicized, then in such cases he can request for the information, is what would be my personal opinion.
Very well said, and I think personally that too. I think the intention of that working statement is pretty good. It probably keeps away the trolls as well, because if somebody has not worked the invention here and just try to buy others' patents and try to enforce that, I don't think you can probably invoke this working statement. But I also think it kind of adds a little bit of burden on corporations, because most of the time we are, we don't have enough people to do the work. And I think we can give all this information, maybe provided, say, I have a 50-member team just working on only working statements. Just, we can do a fantastic job, but I don't think that is required, or rather, I don't think that is the intention of that. So I definitely think there should be some changes in the way we look at things, and maybe some clear guidance from the patent office is what we request. Okay, so some